All right, guys, we're gonna get started. Good to see everybody. It's nice to see a few more people on today. Um, Definitely a good habit to get into, so I'm happy to see you guys jumping on. So we're gonna get started with the way that we always do with our breathing exercises. We're gonna go through 3 different rounds of core and mobility exercises with about 4 different exercises per round. So we're gonna start with breathing. You can either have your feet flat on the ground or up at 90 degrees. Hands are gonna be up in the air. You want your back flat on the ground, low back and upper back. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna breathe in through your nose, really trying to not expand your stomach. You wanna expand through your ribs. And then once you've taken a deep breath, you're gonna breathe all the way out and just keep breathing out and keep breathing out until you can't breathe out anymore. You're gonna pause for 1 to 2 seconds. When you breathe out, you're gonna feel your lower core come on and try to think about that remaining activated as you then breathe in again. And we're gonna do 5 breaths just like that. When you breathe out, also think about really reaching up into the sky with your arms and shoulders. So here we go. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. 3 more. Breathe in and out. 2 more, just like that. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna go into a hamstring bridge. We're gonna do a single leg bridge on this round. So one leg is gonna be up in the air. You're gonna be going up. Do not arch your back. You just wanna go up as much as your hamstring or your glute will allow. Try to think about having like almost a little bit of pelvic tilt here. And we're gonna hold each side for 45 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. I'd prefer if you had your hands either just off the ground or up in the air like this. If you have your hands down, you'll be more prone to lift yourself up with your elbows or with your hands. You really want to think about pushing off. If you're feeling your glutes or your quads at all, think then about squeezing your glute more and your hamstring more and relieving that pressure off your quad. It's really a glute and hamstring exercise. Think about having your feet flat on the ground, your big toe really pressed down into the mat. Just 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1, switch sides. Nice work. It's a good exercise to practice your breathing that we were just doing, really thinking about expanding your ribs. Not breathing through your stomach. Got about 20 seconds left. Again, if you're feeling it in your quads at all, really think about squeezing that glute and getting the glute and hamstring activated. 3, 2, 1, and down. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna go into a mobility exercise, open books. So you're gonna be lying on your side. Your knees are gonna be up at 90 degrees. You want your knees stacked, meaning you don't want your top knee behind your bottom knee. You want them right on top of one another, and you're just going to open your chest up and turn. Now the idea here is to really open through your mid back, not through your hips. So if you find your knees sliding back at all or your hips shifting back, that's not what you want. You want to just really be rotating through your upper back. I have terrible back rotation, so you can see I like can't really open up very well. But just take a breath, come back, and we'll do 5 of those each side. Each one you do, try to go a little bit further. Once you've done 5, you can switch sides. I have to say I was a little bit nervous about the call today because Zoom is down in a big part of the US. But it worked out okay. You may find you get a few back adjustments when you do this, and that's okay. Couple more here. Sometimes I really feel it in my bicep too, which is actually a good thing. With all that biking that we do, our biceps can get really tight, which can impact our upper back and mid back. Okay, after you've done 5 of those, we're gonna go into Cobra. We're gonna just do 15 press ups. The closer your arms are to your chest, the more challenging it is, and the farther away, the less challenging it is. So find a position that works for you. And we'll just do 15 press ups. Really think about relaxing your glutes and your low back and extending through your upper back and your chest. You don't need to do these fast. Just do them nice and slow. Really think about pushing your chest forward. The less you can tighten your low back and your glutes, the better. You're going to get much more out of it. Once you've done 15, we're going to go back onto our backs. And this time we're going to do a double glute bridge. So both legs, hands are going to be up in the air, and you're just going to lift up, and we're going to go up 20 times. Again, don't arch your back. You don't want to be doing this. You want more of a, almost like a straight line between your glutes. If you're arching your back, it's not good. So just think about that straight line. And we'll just do 20 times. Each time squeezing those glutes. Think about having that big toe pressing down into the mat. I really like this exercise, and the reason why I include it a lot is sometimes, depending upon how I'm feeling, my glutes either are activating or they're not. And like the goal is to continue to get better, but I think this is a great exercise to really show if your glutes are activating. And if your glutes and hamstrings aren't activating, it's going to make things like running a lot harder. So I think this is just a really great exercise to always include in your routine. Okay, once we've done 20, we're gonna go into a modified pigeon pose. Some of you may be familiar with this or not. You're gonna be on all fours. I'm gonna show it to you from the side first. You're gonna pick up one leg and you're gonna bring it over the back of your other leg, and then you're gonna go down onto your elbows, and that's gonna be, you got a nice glute stretch here. The further you bring that back knee out to the side, the more of a stretch you're gonna get. I'm just gonna hold here for 30 seconds. Clock. I'm gonna switch sides. I like to start with some mobility exercises before we launch into the 2 core sequences, because I just think it's like a good way to warm up the body. Mobility is always a really important thing to work on. I always include it and incorporate it into my normal core routine. All right, and we're gonna go back into the Cobra. This time we're just gonna hold for 30 seconds. We're gonna come up, 3, 2, 1, up. And we're just gonna hold here for 30 seconds. Really think about, again, keeping that back and butt as loose as you can, really pushing through your mid-back, trying to get your hips as close to the ground as you can. But if they're not on the ground, that's okay. Just 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Okay, we're going into a double plank sequence. So we're going to do front plank to start on our elbows. If that is too challenging for you for any reason, you can definitely do it on your knees, no problem. We're going to hold there for a minute, and then we're going to go straight into side plank on each side. So that's how we're going to start. So we're going to do 2.5 minutes straight of planking. 1 minute side plank and 1.5 minutes side planking. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I've said this so many times, but you don't want to be piped like this. You want your butt to be tight. You don't want to be sagging either. You want to be in a nice, strong position. If you need a little break, you can come down and then come back up. That's okay. We're about 30 seconds in, 30 seconds to go before we move into the side plank. Now, when we go into the side plank, the ideal setup is for you to have a staggered stance, but if that's too challenging for you, you can go into the side plank on your knees, which is totally fine. Just 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1, just roll onto one side. We'll start that side plank. Hand can be either up in the air or on your waist. You really want to think about getting good alignment between your shoulder and your hips. Really think about squeezing that glute. You guys are doing great. 15 more seconds, and then we're going to switch sides. Switch sides in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Just roll onto the other side. I like doing this plank sequence because you get a solid amount of time of straight planking, but you're also getting some variance. So if it's something that you feel comfortable with, it's a really good thing to incorporate. You guys are doing really well. It's 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1, and down. Nice work. That was really good. Okay, we're gonna do, I call them V-ups, but I don't actually think that's a technical term, but it's just what I think of them as. So I'll show you how to do it first, and then the past couple of weeks we've been doing 10. Today we are gonna go up to 15 in the first round. So you're gonna be like you're doing Russian twists, and all you're gonna do is leaning back and coming up. Leaning back and coming up. Truly try to get all the way down so your shoulders are on the ground, and then try to come back up with a straight back. We're gonna do 15. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. Next, we're gonna do adductor stretch. You guys should be familiar with this. First round, we're just gonna hold, and the second round, we're gonna do something a little bit different, which some of you may be familiar with. So just on your knees, one leg out to the side. Really try to have your foot flat versus up like this, because that also gives you a stretch to your peroneals. And all you're gonna do is rock back and forth. I really think about keeping that big toe strong into the ground, because as I rock back, that helps really get into your adductor. If you want, you can then turn your heel up, get a little bit more hamstring. And let's switch sides. You can turn your foot up if you want. Otherwise, you can just leave it as is. Nice work. All right, we're going back into the plank. This time what we're gonna do, instead of the elbow plank for a minute, we're gonna do shoulder taps for a minute, and then we're gonna go back into the side plank sequence. So it's gonna be straight, and again, a minute and a half, or 2.5 minutes, but this time with shoulder taps. And we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Again, if you have not done shoulder taps before, you're just really slow. Just tap the opposite hand to the shoulder. You don't want to do these fast. You want to be really slow, really methodical. You can see I have like almost no shift in my hips. So you don't want your hips to be shifting around like this. It really defeats the purpose. It's really about doing it slow and getting that core engaged. The wider you spread your feet, the more challenging it's going to be. The more narrow you go, the harder it's going to be. You guys are doing great. You have 30 seconds left. Really think about getting that low core engaged. Keeping those hips really stable. Imagine you're balancing a glass of water on your back. You don't want it to spill. 10 seconds left here. We're actually going to stay up on our hands for this side plank. So you're just going to shift the side plank up on your hand, like so. Again, If this is too challenging for you, you can go down to your elbow and onto your knees. This is a really good exercise too, because it helps with shoulder strength when you do these hand side planks. So when you're on your shoulder, when you're on your elbow, you get a little bit of that, but as you want to progress the exercise, doing it on your hand is a really good next step. Just 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1, let's roll, switch sides. You may find this a little bit challenging for your shoulder. And if you need to come down to your elbow, that's totally okay. It's really natural, I think, when you're up like this to start to roll forward. So really think about keeping those hips aligned. We just have 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. That was a good one. All right, we're going back to the V-ups. This time we're gonna do 17. So just 2 more, challenging ourselves just a little bit. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 more. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Nice work. Okay, so for this adductor stretch, it's going to be combined with a little bit of like a T-spine. We've done this before, but you're going to stand up and you're going to spread your legs kind of as wide as you can. You're going to come down, hands are going to touch the ground, and all you're going to do is rotate like so, 10 times each side. You'll feel the stretch in each adductor, and at the same time get some good T-spine work. Once you've done 10, you can switch sides. I like this exercise too because it's kind of hard to shift your hips. So you really have to work on your T-spine mobility from that perspective. Once you're done with that, we're going into our last C round of exercises. So we're going to do 1 round of this, which is the hollow rock, everybody's favorite. We're going to hold for 45 seconds today. The goal, let me show you just quickly what I would like to see, is to have your feet as close to the ground as possible, your arms extended overhead, but you want your back to be flat on the ground. So if you're arching your back like this, that's not good. You really want to have that. If that's too hard, you can bring your legs up, you can bring your hands up a little bit. The goal is to just keep that back flat on the ground. So we're going to hold for 45 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. This is a really hard exercise. but it's a really good one because it teaches you to be strong in an extended position. So the other thing that you really want to think about is those breathing exercises, keeping those ribs down, keeping that. Matt talks about bringing that belly button in when you're riding, when you're doing your intervals on the bike. Think about bringing that belly button in, really drawing in that core. You guys are doing great. We just have 15 seconds more here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Okay, we're gonna go into bear. We're gonna do a bear crawl, which is what we did last week. So I'll quickly show you what I want you to do. You're gonna be on all fours. Your toes are gonna be curled under. Your knees are gonna come off just slightly off the ground. And we're gonna walk 2, 3, 4 forward and back. 2, 3, 4. And we're just gonna do that continuously for an entire minute. Starting in 3, 2, 1, here we go. The goal, kind of like with the shoulder taps, is to not let your hips move all around. You want to keep your hips super stable. So just go as slow as you need. You don't need to take big steps. In fact, the smaller steps, the better. Really think about drawing that belly button in again. Think about having a glass of water on your back and you don't want it to spill. So you just need to go slowly and methodically. You guys are doing great, just 20 seconds left. Ten more seconds. You can get a forward and a back in. And down. Nice job. Okay, we're gonna go back into side plank. This time, what we're gonna do is I wanna see your feet stacked, so not staggered, and we're gonna do 5 to 10 leg lifts. Ideally 10, but just do with what you feel comfortable with. They're gonna be up and you're gonna lift. You don't wanna see this movement when you go. You wanna stay stable, lift, come back down. We're gonna try to do 10 each side, but 5 is fine. Here we go. It's really hard. That's why even if you can just start out with 5, if you need to take a little break, that's okay. It's a really hard exercise, but it's really, really good for your core. Think about squeezing those glutes. I see some of you guys doing it. You guys are really good. You're doing such a great job. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna do one more round of the bear crawl and one more round of those side planks. So let me just get my timer up. We're gonna start with the bear crawl in 3, 2, 1, and up. Remember, forward 4, back 4. Nice job. You guys have about 20 seconds left. Five seconds. Nice work, and down. All right, so it's 10:01, so let's just do these side planks, 5 to 10 each side, and then we're done for the day. This was a really good session, you guys. Great work. I know next weekend's Labor Day, but we'll be still having class, so hopefully you guys will join. This is such a hard exercise. It's like so challenging for me because you really have to squeeze that low glute and create stability. Whew, sweating. Nice job, guys. It was great to see some more people on today. Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you, Jody. Good to see you, Jess.